Tonight's episode of the Off-Road Podcast is sponsored by Warn, Power Tank, and Medical Gear Outfitters.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 316, Host Rigs Walkaround.
Tonight, Aaron packs it all up. Jeremy goes to Just Okay Off-Road Park, and Ben heads in the right direction.
Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, the podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. I'm your host, Ben, and I'm here with my co-host, Aaron, and maybe a little longer, Jeremy. We'll see. He might get fired after this show. We'll see. And welcome to the show.
I thought he was just going to combine us into one person and call us Aramy.
Aramy. It's been done before.
The weekend review is brought to you by Medical Gear Outfitters. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting to have a casualty on the trail? Check out medicalgearoutfitters.com to get straightened out. Medical Gear Outfitters has everything you need, whether you're going out for the day or traveling on a year-long expedition. Head over there to get off-road specific kits that meet all of your needs. And while you're there, make sure you use Off-Road Podcast for 10% off.
Aaron, man, what's up?
I just want to give a shout out to our first two listeners here. We got Tim Kilmer on the line and Eric, who just recently ditched us from the Pacific Northwest and is now residing in Texas. He's asking why our show is late. He says it's 9 o'clock. You better check your watch. You're in the wrong time zone, buddy.
Yeah, he's going to that.
Yeah. Let's see here. I've had a busy week. Got the concrete poured for my shop finally. I'm super excited. The concrete guys, from what I can tell, did a marvelous job making it super smooth, like creeper smooth. So that's really what I wanted. I've got some time to decide, but I'd love to hear what Tim says he did that move 3 years ago. He moved from Puyallup to Arizona. That's actually where Eric Ewers just left, is Puyallup. Seems like it's a trend. I left Puyallup 3 years ago as well. Eric asked if there was any handprints in my concrete. No, we didn't do handprints. I'm not one of those handprints in the concrete guy type of guys. So I've got some time, though, to think about if I want to do epoxy or not. So I'd love to hear from our listeners if I should spend the money on epoxying my floor or just leave it alone. And if I do epoxy it, what should I do? So let me know. I've done epoxy once before. Wasn't totally thrilled with it. So we'll see. And it was on brand new concrete, so it wasn't like it had an oiled surface. So let me know what you guys think out there.
You could Raptor line it.
That kind of defeats the purpose of creeper smooth.
No, you can choose your texture with Raptor.
Eric says I should do an off-road podcast logo.
Ooh, there's an idea.
in the floor of the garage. That would be pretty neat, pretty nifty. So
You should have had them set that into the concrete.
yeah. Tim Kilmer says he wants to Raptor line. That's what he wanted to do, is Raptor line it. So I've not heard people using that on their floors, so I might have to look into that. Beyond concrete, I've been packing up all my stuff because I like to take everything when I go camping and the kitchen sink. So been packing for a camp trip that I'm leaving on in 3 days. It's going to be taking our big RV trailer to a state campground in Central Oregon. It's a family camp with my sister's family and with my mom and her husband's son and wife. So anyways, family camp, Central Oregon. That's what I'm going to be up to. And then also I'm planning out these shooting events I've got coming up. If you're in the area and you're not a creep, shoot me a message. Maybe I'll let you come hang out on the property and shoot some guns, maybe win a prize. Darwin out there says hi. Hey, Darwin. Glad to have you again, as always. Back to the concrete. Tim says he Googled it, and all he could find that a guy did the floor of his enclosed trailer for his side-by-side. So, and he said it was great. So Yeah, I'll have
They
to look into the Raptor liner.
when we had Mark on from Upol, he had said that
Uh-huh.
they'd used it in a couple places for garage floors.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Interesting.
I
I
want
don't
to
remember
say
that.
it was like a bus depot floor too.
Oh wow, so like industrial.
Yeah, might have to go back and listen to that episode again.
Okay.
Well, Jeremy, what about you?
Oh.
Well, I snuck off for a couple hours after the kids went to bed on Saturday night and ended up just going to Tahuya. I ran into somebody who I've actually ran into a couple times when I've been out there recently. And so I ended up just going and wheeling with him, and I think he knew them from before, but I'm not 100% sure. So we just ended up doing some pretty easy stuff. One of them was in a fairly stock FJ, and so we ended up doing Trail 55. Like we ran it out and back, and then just some of the other stuff in along the way. Just kind of we really kept it pretty chill, but it was fun. Um, yeah, that's about it.
How's it riding now? Did you get everything clearanced good enough?
Oh yeah, everything's perfect. I'm I bent another uh I bent another control arm bracket, but that's okay.
You
Not
need
as
like
bad as the last time, but
you need like control armor
yeah,
apparently.
probably.
But I mean, if that's all you need, considering what you've done to the rig, that's not bad, man.
I
Realistically,
need a skid plate for my RAM as well.
well, a couple skid plates. I mean, what's a little extra armor, right?
Yeah. I'm not thrilled with where I'm not thrilled with where they throw the RAM
Hmm.
on the Dynatrack axles. It's below the tie rod. I kind of think that's a
Hmm.
silly place for it, but they do make a skid plate. I need to see if I could figure out if I could just manufacture it. Doesn't look
Yeah.
too difficult. The main thing is trying to get it so it's removable, so you can actually work on the RAM. So we'll see. I might also just call Northridge and see how much it would cost for them to go ahead and just weld it on for me, and then just not worry about it. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. How about you, Ben? What have you been up to?
I went camping. I went up to Lake Cleom, did a little camping, did a little tubing, got molested by some rocks because the water was so low. I was hitting those rocks hard, and like you have to like plank yourself when you're going over the tube. My back is just hurting.
I,
I took a
It's
boulder
like
to
a
the head.
common it's like a common thing. He really takes it in the rear.
Yeah, no, I got straight up abused going tubing. The water level is just so low right now. That there was some nice little rapids. We actually had a tube pop. And it happened to be the one with my son in it. So my wife was right next to him, and she grabbed the tube and held it shut while I got down to him and a couple of our group, and then we had to spread out some kids between tubes. It was little sketch there for a moment, a little scary, but we had fun. I enjoyed camping. It was with the burn ban. I got to pull out the propane fire pit, which has been nice. And then I finally got my caster adjusted today. It took me
It's
and a coworker.
about time.
I had a coworker help me today at work. It took us all of
Good.
37 minutes, or not 37 minutes, 27 minutes. So yeah, it was. We had to use a ratchet strap to kind of help pull the control arm back into place to get the
I'm pretty
tab
sure that's how
on,
they do it at the tire stores too.
probably.
When they align your rig, I think they use ratchet straps and stuff. And
No, no.
maybe
I've got tabs with bolts instead of like the alignment tabs where
uh-huh.
you twist them, and these tabs are set in place. So you have to get the tab in, get the bolt going through with the control arm. And so got them in, and there's enough length in there. You just have to adjust the control arm. And with how heavy my tires are, it did not want to move. So, yep. But it's all
your
good now.
your
I
33s, so heavy.
so heavy, so heavy. compared to those 40s. I've got one of those 40s sitting right next to me too.
I know.
Have
I
you
still
come
need to
pick it
come
up
and
yet?
pick it up.
Yeah.
You didn't take that tubing with you this weekend?
Oh, that would have been a great tube.
I don't think so.
Well, with the water level as low, he could have just sat inside of it and rolled down whatever
Yeah.
river he was in.
Actually, there was one spot I had hopped out to move the tube, and it was actually really deep there, and I hopped out, my leg cramped. And I couldn't touch the bottom, and I'm like, oh no. So I'm holding on to the tube for dear life, and I'm kicking as well as I can with one leg, and got myself over to a shallow.
What's on your shirt there today, Ben? I was wondering.
Damn wheels, though. JCR off-road dumb shirt of the month.
JCR. Yeah. Oh, yes. Eric says, so Ben buys used tubes too, huh?
Oh, ouch.
That's
No.
a good
Oh,
stinger.
comment of the week.
That was a cheap Walmart tube, and I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And you bought it used?
No, brand new. Wow.
Oh, Tim
harsh.
says, so what he's saying is he got stuck in a ditch, even out of the runner. So true.
I don't need a ditch to get stuck in the runner. Oh, actually, there is one more thing I forgot to say is I picked up some toolboxes. So my mom was cleaning out the garage, and I was already getting these toolboxes before my dad passed. But she was cleaning out the garage because my dad had been organizing all of his tools, and so I picked up those toolboxes and some tools that she says she wasn't going to need. But I'll probably end up using them at her house, like nail gun and a few other things, because tools. So yeah.
I don't think you should own a nail gun, Ben.
3-inch nails? What? Why shouldn't I own a nail gun? What could go wrong? What could possibly
go wrong?
We'll find out next week. Ben has a hole in his hand. Next week, Ben is holy.
And he's got a hole in his hand and in his tire.
Shoot.
Because his kids
literally
got interested in what would happen if they put a nail through it.
I don't know. It's an older nail gun. It probably doesn't have a safety.
Yikes.
But this is my safety. This is my safety right here. Okay. Can't help it if my kids do it.
Hey guys, we're looking to reach more listeners. We're going to start reading Apple iTunes reviews on air. If you hear yours, send us a message with your address, and we'll send you an Off-Road Podcast sticker. You can find all of our social media by just searching our name. Now, go hit that subscribe button.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month. There it is. Agent Krabs. Have you guys checked your mailbox yet this week?
No, I haven't checked my mail yet. It's probably
not today.
right up there. Have you?
You guys are the worst at checking your mail. That's what I have children for. They go all the way up to the mailbox and get the Patriot Patch of the Month stuff.
Oops, wrong one.
There you go. Push it again. Oh. There we go. So there's the artist proof card. They've changed. I know this is going to sound weird, but I noticed that they changed the material that the card stock is made from. It's got these little lines here. I'll give you guys some ASMR stuff here. Yeah, so it's a textured paper, which is kind of neat. And I love that they always show the previous 12 months to what you've received. So yeah, I got the artist proof, the patch, the matching sticker, and then this month they threw in a free sticker set. So I asked my wife if I could put this on her truck. She immediately said no. So I guess that means I have to do it without her permission.
Yeah.
So not only is that a sticker, but the Patriot Patch portion is a sticker at the bottom as well. So kind of a neat
Oh,
little bonus.
nifty.
Yeah. So go check your mailboxes.
Well, according to Tim, he can't send his kids out to the mailbox because it's 2,000 degrees outside.
That's what happens when you move to Arizona.
Yep.
The news is brought to you by PowerTank, the ultimate mobile onboard air system for performance, versatility, and reliability. They are your source for all air-related accessories. Check them out at powertank.com.
I think Rick wants to know if this is Kravik, but it's Agent Krabs, not Agent Kravik. Well, let's talk about the news here. Have you guys ever heard of the company called Morgan before this news article came out?
No, I hadn't.
Okay, you guys aren't. Rick says it looks like Kravik. Morgan is a company that's been around for over 100 years, and they make these. They almost look like kit cars, little tiny cars. They're usually 2-seaters. I don't even know if they make 4-seater cars. I've never really looked, but they used to be, and up until very recently, the chassis used to be made out of wood on these things. The chassis was made out of ash wood. So they've recently moved over to making them out of aluminum. And for quite a while, they've been sourcing BMW engines in them. So it's a nifty little car. It's a very, very niche car. I believe Richard Hammond drove one in one of the Top Gear episodes and stuff like that. But we would normally talk about Morgans on the show, but they have come out with like a Dakar inspired Morgan, and it's called the Plus 4 CXT. And the CX is Roman numerals for 110. So I think that's how old the company is right now. And the Plus 4 has to do with it's using a BMW 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. So kind of a neat little rig. They don't weigh much, so they don't have to have tons of power. These pictures that we're going through show it just kind of rallying on gravel roads and stuff, but there are some other pictures going on where it is like doing a little bit of rock crawling, and it's kind of a bummer. In one of the pictures where it's got like one tire up in the air, it looks like there's 0 wheel droop at all. Maybe it's got like 2 inches of wheel droop. So I'm not sure how much articulation the suspension has or not, but who cares? It's just awesome seeing one of these things being wheeled.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Cruella de Vil.
Cruella, yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of like watching 101 Dalmatians as a kid in the car she's driving around. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And she's just like ripping through town and driving through fields and smashing trash cans and stuff like that.
So you can hunt some puppies down with this baby.
Yeah, I bet you could, although there isn't room for 101 Dalmatians in it. That's for sure. So
well, I mean, she never had 101 Dalmatians in her vehicle.
That's true. Yeah.
Just a couple
so
of dogs.
It's using the suspension off the Morgan Plus 6. I don't know what that means other than it's a bigger vehicle, which is kind of like what I did with the Titan swap on my truck for the suspension, which we'll talk about later. But it's got bigger control arms, which gives you more articulation, and it's all skidded up, which is really cool. They put larger wheel arches to make more room for the articulation, they said, which I'm really curious to know how much it really has. Removable hardtop, removable windows. So it's just like a Wrangler. It's got a removable hardtop, and it's got an exo cage on it. I don't know if I've ever seen anything come from the factory with an exo cage. Can you guys think of anything that has?
No.
Yeah.
Nothing comes to mind.
Does the no, that doesn't have an exo cage. I was gonna say that what's it called? The Rally Fighter, but that doesn't have an exo cage. It does have
No, I don't think it does. So I like that interior.
Yeah, that is I like
It's
it
just
too.
clean and timely and stuff like that. It supposedly has a map light, like a rally specific map light that is like overhead for if you're doing some sort of rally stuff. So
I'm not sure.
um,
I'm not sure if this is factory, but in this picture I'm looking at here, it's got a RAM mount, and the RAM bar, I think is what they call it. It's like a
yeah,
slidable, adjustable RAM mount for a couple RAM accessories.
I would hope that comes with it because it's $237,000. They're only making 8 of them, so very limited. Eric says it looks like something the Nazis would drive in Indiana Jones, which it looks right. What's cool about the Exo cage is that it's got storage up there, it's got sand ladders up there, it's got some shovels and tools. And then it has like a 4-pack of lights up high, some roto packs on it. It's pretty neat how they packaged some of that stuff on there. Um, this one is running a bonded aluminum chassis. It's not wood, so should be good wheeling it off road, not worrying about termites. But this is one thing that I thought was really interesting about it. It mentions that it has a electronic rear locker, and you're like, so does Toyota Tacomas. But this rear locker, besides being able to turn off and on, has a middle setting which is 40% on. And I thought that was really interesting that you could set the electronic locker to a percentage, or it's a set percentage. But I thought it was really interesting that you could set it to percentage like a limited slip rear differential. I've never heard of that with a rear locker before, or any electric locker.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide if there's a benefit to that though.
I wonder that as well, but maybe rather than turning it off and on and off and on, if you have to do like a lot of turning in a trail or something, maybe it's just beneficial so you don't have to keep turning it off. Because in my mind, you either need a locker or you don't. And a limited
Yeah.
slip differential is maybe good for a track, but it's like not nearly as good as what a locker does. So
Yeah, and I mean the limited slip might be better in the road,
yeah,
but I don't know. I think it's a gimmick that's just causing something else that can break, because I have to imagine there's some sort of friction pack or something in there that you gotta, kind of like a limited slip.
They said 40%.
yeah, 40%. So I'm curious to see if it becomes anything. Obviously, someone has to start a trend, and either it will become a legit thing and it will make sense down the road, or it'll just go away. So, anyways, yeah, Morgan +4 CXT, fun looking rig.
Oh.
Yeah,
So I just Googled it just to see. So there's a Dana 60 Eaton Detroit locker, and it's got this multi differential thing. I don't know.
like you can select.
Yeah, but now I don't see anything on it saying that, but it did when I. Interesting.
Go prepared with Warren Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warren equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
Well, this week we are going through our vehicles, so we're talking a bunch of different parts of our vehicles, and we're just gonna roll right through. And I think we'll start with suspension components. And let's go to Ben. Wait, go ahead.
Haven't we already talked about our rigs before? Why do we need to talk about them again?
Well, it has been a while, and we have done a lot of things to them recently. Is that
All
why?
right. Yeah, we've changed them. So
Yeah.
I'm sure we've talked a little bit off and on about what we've changed, and we thought maybe we'd go into a little more depth about what we've changed.
Well, I guess I'll get this started, shall I, with suspension?
Yeah, do it.
All right. So I've got third gen Tacoma takeoff strut coilover struts for the front with some cheap spacers. And then I've got Toyotech 3-inch Superflex rear springs.
Tim in the comments says Jeremy drives a Toyota Tacoma, Ben has a Cherokee, and Aaron has an LMTV. So Tim, I think you're a little behind. I'm sure you're joking, but I'm glad you remember the rigs we used to have.
Yeah.
I mean,
Although
we could
I
go
don't-
way back. I had a Wagoneer, Jeep Wagoneer.
He probably remembers that too.
Andy had a Wrangler.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have the Wrangler when I was on the show.
That's fair.
Yep. So yeah, that's my my crappy suspension. Though I do have new coilovers that I actually may now be doing because I need a little more space. I've got some Falcon leveling shocks that I might finally do, and then I've got some Icon Overland heavy duty springs for the rear because I've got way too much sway in the back with the tent on roof, so I need some Olaf springs.
Now, how hard is it for you to throw those springs in? Is it just like
I can
lift the back and peel them out?
so I can do the springs in the rear fairly easy. I just gotta disconnect the sway bar and the shocks. I have to remember to disconnect the shocks or I'll kill a shock again. If you
Yeah.
guys remember that.
Yep.
Yep. So as long as I'm not drunk and stupid trying to pull out springs, it works out pretty simply, and I can do it in about 30 minutes, 45 minutes by myself with a floor jack.
Okay.
So
I assumed it wasn't too tough.
how did that kill your shock again?
Because I overextended the shock and kept putting pressure on it, and then it just went.
Oh, you were putting pressure on it.
Yeah,
see.
so I lifted up the rear end, and then and it's the story of my life. I haven't put lots of things in.
Yeah, we made a joke video about Ben not installing anything.
That was a
You
good
know-
video. Thanks for making that, Jeremy.
I think it went over a lot of people's heads, but
Yeah.
I
you have to
enjoyed making
know the
it.
show.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, inside jokes, inside
Yeah.
outside jokes. Well, what about you, Jeremy?
Well, I just recently swapped in a 5.5-inch metal cloak game changer and some Falcon adjustable shocks. So I've been super happy with that. The thing I would love to go to a long arm, and I'll probably get there eventually, but I just didn't have the time to try to learn how to weld to get it to weld in, or I didn't have the money to pay somebody to weld it in. So I went with the metal cloak. It's given me great flex so far. So far, it really hasn't. I haven't hung up on the drop brackets. That's the main thing I dislike about this lift is it uses drop brackets for the to correct the correct the geometry, which work great on the road. On off road, supposedly it can hold you up, but I'm so tall now that it just hasn't been a problem for me yet.
Is that
Yeah.
going to cause any issues for getting in and out of your garage?
No, it actually still fits in the garage, thankfully, even on the 40s.
No, what you're talking about. I'm talking about if you go to the long arm.
Oh no, it won't raise the Jeep any. It just lengthens the control arm, so you get that better geometry. Your axle. Long story short, your axle doesn't it doesn't move as far forward and back in the Jeep through the travel. What are you laughing at there?
Oh, just Tim's comment here. He says you're still the same height. The Jeep is taller.
It smooths out the ride because it makes the more level your control arms are, the smoother your ride's going to be. And then it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't move as much in the wheel well forward and back.
Gotcha. Okay.
Jamie pointed out that she gave those to me a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Story of his life.
Uh-huh.
How about you, Aaron? Now that you have done some of your swapping, what are you running?
Let's see here. I'm going to start at the back because it's easier to talk about the rear. So I'm still running the custom leaf pack that I've had since not quite day one, but it was probably installed less than a year after I owned it. So it's a factory leaf pack with a couple added leaves and a 1-inch spacer under the leaf pack. And it was done by a professional leaf spring company, and they also re-arched my springs at the same time. And then I just finally, when I did my Titan suspension swap, I added some Bilstein 5100 extended shocks in the rear. So something I should have done a long time ago, but never did. And
Are those the did you use Right Way for your
yes, yep, right way spring in Tacoma. Yep.
Yep, love those guys.
Yeah, they're really good people. Um, and it was super reasonable what he charged. So moving to the front, I'm running some Radflow 650-pound extended coilovers that are made specific for the Titan swap that I did. With this swap, there isn't room to do the remote reservoir because you have to invert it or something along those lines. So I couldn't spend the extra money and be super fancy with those extended guys. But it's way smoother. When we were in Colorado, the place that we camped, the road was like pitted with potholes and stuff. And I like specifically like plowed into the potholes just to see if I could feel the difference. And it was so much smoother with the longer travel suspension and those coilovers up front. Made a big difference.
Could that have contributed to your break?
No, it's not like I was like blasting through potholes, but because I had my wife with me and I was like letting her see the difference in my suspension. So also the factory sway bar doesn't fit up front when you do a Titan swap. I bet a Titan one does, but because I bought the 650-pound coilovers, I went with um, because of all the extra gear and stuff. I figured that I wouldn't have to run a sway bar, and it feels great on the road. So there is more sway because the truck is taller and things like that. But so I'm not running a front sway bar, and I need to probably just unbolt the rear one and see what it does back there. Because I'm still running the rear sway bar. And to run those coilovers, I had to install Nissan Titan upper control arms and Nissan Titan lower control arms. And I went with factory ones down low because everybody says there's no reason to spend money on expensive ones. Just use OEM. And the uppers, I'm running some fancy SPCs that allow me to adjust caster with those guys also. It doesn't just have the ball joint in one spot up top.
Yeah, that's important when you're running the those after when you lift an IFS.
Yeah. And then beyond that, I've just got some generic aftermarket bump stops on there, and I had to I had to install Nissan Titan tie rods on it. Apparently, the Titan and Frontier use the same steering rack, so I just had to replace it with the Titan tie rods inside and outside, which are like 3 inches longer. So that's basically it for. That's basically it for my suspension. Tim says he's going to get the same truck as me, except he's just going to buy a Titan instead of taking the long way around. So that's
Ouch.
great.
Tim,
Yeah.
Tim's comments are on point today.
Yes, I
How
love it,
so
Tim.
those SPC upper control arms that you have, did you
Uh-huh.
play around with adjusting them much?
No, I took it to a shop and had them do it, and I'm not totally pleased. So once I move up to my next tire size, I'll probably take it to an off-road specific shop and have them do it.
Yeah,
So
I've gotten SPCs in a couple times at work, and the alignment shop we've taken them to. I tell them how to adjust them, and
mhm.
they still 90% of the time get it wrong, and it has to go
Yeah.
back again.
Yeah, both of the adjustments they don't line up. Like you'd think that they'd both be in the same spot left and right, but they aren't. One is farther forward than the other one, which is frustrating. So I need
Yeah,
to have a professional do it. So
yeah. Once they're set though, the cool thing is you're really able to get that caster move forward,
yeah.
and if you're going 37s. or 35s. It'll help bumping them up.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about engines, Jeremy. You were the first one to have an engine swapped off-road rig. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so I have a 5.7 liter Hemi swap done by AEV. Mine was the easy way to get a Hemi swap. Somebody else paid to do it for me.
You bought it swapped.
Traded it swapped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And I love it. I love that Hemi. It gets a lot of looks on the trails. It makes me smile every time I hit the gas. I love having that Hemi. It makes things a little bit more challenging when you're trying to install accessories inside the engine compartment, because it's just so much bigger than a stock JK motor. But it's a give and take.
So they put a Hemi engine in it. Is there any other part they had to do, or does it bolt up to your transmission? And
we can talk about that in the next one. That was kind of
okay.
drivetrain stuff.
Okay, I just didn't know if that was part of the engine swap. So
well, it is. Okay, so we'll talk about it now. So on the 2012 and newer JKs, they don't have to do anything. It bolts up to the stock transmission.
Okay.
On the older JKs, they have to put in a 545 RFE. So it which is nice because it gets you an extra gear. Yeah.
What about like any other engine mods to support it, or is it just like a factory engine setup?
They also throw in a different intake. But then pretty much everything else except for the thing, like all the accessories bolted to the motor are like all the pumps and everything are off of the 5.7 Hemi. But pretty much everything else in the engine compartment is stock except for probably my battery tray. And then obviously the computer and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
How about you, Aaron? Tell us about your Hemi or your Titan swap, V8 swap.
Well, yeah, I just got done with that right before my Moab trip. And of course, Jeremy has to always one up everybody. So his engine has got 0.1 more liters than my engine does. So
well,
yeah, I've got.
Hold on. Is it really one upping you if mine was first? I think you just didn't measure up. Is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. I picked the wrong engine to swap in. Apparently, I should have looked for some 5.8
or 6.4.
Yeah, that would have been a hard one to top if you had the 6.4 in there. So
yeah,
6.7.
Yeah, actually, I think that 7 Ford has a new engine out called the 7.3, and but it's not a diesel; it's a gas motor.
Oh,
and
interesting.
It's a gas motor 7.3, and apparently it's an absolute beast. So yeah. Anyways, Titan swap. It's basically the engine and transmission out of a Nissan Titan that bolts directly into the Frontier. Basically bolts in. You use almost all the parts from the Titan. You use a couple parts from the Frontier to make it all bolt in. I'll probably do an episode about it down the road, talking through a Titan swap. Titans are known to have exhaust manifolds that crack. So rather than waiting and having to replace them, I just bought some aftermarket headers and a complete catback system. So I've got that going for it, and a custom tune that I still need to have tuned some more. So I got to do a little more work to it to fix the cooling system, and then it'll be ready for that final tune, hopefully. So Tim apparently watches my Titan videos. Titan how-to engine swap videos. First step, turn the Titan on its side. Ben, what engine have you put in your 4Runner?
Nothing. It came with a V6 4.0. So I'm like 1.6 behind you and 1.7 behind Jeremy there.
And 2 cylinders.
And
Yeah,
two
and two
cylinders.
cylinders. Yeah.
But I have a snorkel that's functioning. And yeah,
I do too. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, it does make really cool sucking noises. It sounds like a vacuum cleaner when I step on the gas. Like you can hear the air being sucked into the engine from the
We should
snorkel.
put some like kazoos or something in a snorkel and do a video with like kazoos or whistles. I know people have put like those
On the
whistles on the exhaust. I want to see someone put them on the snorkels.
Oh, I'm gonna do it now. I think that'll be a fun video.
Yeah. You put it on your TikTok.
Perfect.
Can you take your filter out so when you suck it in, it just gets sucked all the way through?
Yeah, he doesn't do a good job taping and it pulls it right into the engine.
I've got the carbon filter, so it'd get stopped by something.
Well, I mean, it's never going to get through the intake, but it's
Yeah.
just a funny thing to
It'll
say.
try.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nothing special with my engine. It might need a new head gasket soon because
What?
for that, and I've noticed some losing some fluid lately.
So what does it take to put a V8 in yours? Is it like a easy swappable thing?
No, it's not.
Oh,
So
lame.
Yep, but work, whatever. Well, why don't we talk about drivetrain, because that's always more exciting than engines, right, Aaron?
So yeah, drivetrain. I kind of mentioned that I'm running the Titan transmission because a Frontier transmission won't bolt up the Titan engine, but everything after that is all stock Frontier, the drive line, the transfer case, the rear end, the front drive shaft, and then obviously I could have left my front differential in there well, maybe it's not obvious, but I could have left my front differential in when I did my Titan suspension swap and used different CVs, but the Titan front differential is stronger than the Frontier. And so I got one of those and I got really lucky. I found one not only that had the exact same gear set that mine truck has, but it also had an ARB air locker in it. So I'm now locked front and rear, which is pretty fun. And then I'm running, like I mentioned, I'm running Titan CVs up front, which are very nice for when you break one, that they are just 6 bolts at the differential to take them out rather than trying to pull it in and out of the differential and spilling fluid everywhere. Ben, what have you got going on for your drivetrain?
Factory good stuff. That's about it. Nothing special. I don't know. I need to re-gear and do axles one of these days, but other than that, it's just all that good factory stuff. Nothing
When you say do axles, what do you mean?
I'm gonna do. I'm thinking of doing RCV axles up front, just in case I run into breaking a front axle, since I've broken one CV now, almost 2. I heard the I ripped up a boot on one, and the
Okay.
RCVs are a lot better axle, but they're $1,000, and I
Yeah.
don't know how I feel about spending $1,000 on CV axles, so I might just stick to the $100 O'Reilly's replacement and call that good.
And bring a spare.
Weren't you saying that the OEM ones are better than aftermarket for that?
They are, but
Okay.
$100 O'Reilly's replacement isn't all that terrible.
Yeah.
I'm running right now. I'm running one O'Reilly's replacement right now because I still haven't fixed the other one. So, or I could just reboot some. It's not that hard. Just gotta spend some time doing it. But those.
I think you got to play that one first. Tim
Yeah.
said that Dirt Every Day aired their Forerunner on 40's show today. And then he said it was baby poop green that matches Ben's baby poop yellow.
Oh, sweet. It sounds like we need to have Fred on so we can talk about it.
Wonder what generation it was.
It's a 4th gen.
Yeah,
I know.
Does it have a V8?
Probably does. I don't know.
Well, now I know what I'm doing after the show.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, 40s on front IFS. I've been watching him build.
And it has a V8.
Yep, he's been sharing it in the some of the 4th gen 4Runner groups. It's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Well, Jeremy, what about you?
Well, I got a Jeep and then replaced everything with non-Jeep parts except for the transfer case. So I still have the stock Rubicon transfer case, but everything else, including the engine and back, is aftermarket. So I already talked about the engine and the transmission. So the drive shafts are Adams 1350 U-joint drive shafts, and then the axles are both Dynatrac Hardcore Pro Rock 60s, and they have ARB lockers front and rear, and then also worn lockout hubs up front.
And I assume you've got a gear change happened inside there somewhere too.
Yeah, good point. So it obviously the Jeep came stock with 410s with the Rubicon axles, and I'm running 513s now. I thought about 538s, but I ended up going down a size to get stronger ring and pinion teeth, and I figured I wasn't going to need the extra gearing with the V8. Obviously, it still would be nice to have that extra gearing, but
not when you only wheel it to Huya. So,
ouch.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to Moab or anything.
All right, man. I can't wait for our Browns camp trip.
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes for you, Aaron.
I know.
It's you can talk about going and wheeling Moab when you wheel all the easiest trails there.
I know, right?
Well, now on to Ben's favorite topic. Let's talk about lights. So we'll kick this off with Ben.
Well, we noticed I didn't say I have any lockers, right? So I'm the guy that does lights before lockers, and I'm doing it all wrong. And
hashtag Illumalockers.
Illuma lockers, indeed. So all of the above on lights, really, not really, but I've got my favorite lights. I've got to say is my headlight bulbs are Arc Mini Monsters. They're designed for a projector housing. And I've not seen they outperformed my HIDs that I had, so I really like them a lot. Outside of that, it's China LEDs all around, including my SAR lighting, except for my rear backup lights are some Olympus off-road backup lights with they do the orange flashy thingy that I can't think of for my SAR stuff. So yeah, I've got 360-degree orange flashy lights or amber flashy lights because that's the rules. Maybe talk about that next week.
Tim says Amazon lights for the win. I can buy 10 sets for the price of expensive ones, and I've never had to replace any yet. I can't drive fast enough to outrun them. He's got a 3.8, remember?
So I'm actually going to be looking at getting some Vision X cannons to put in my bumper soon. I've done a lot of in-house research at work on actual lights, and I've got a light bar that's a Chinesium light bar on the wall, and then I've got like a Vision X light bar, and you really can see the difference.
Koi coming in for the real questions here. Are Ben's lights used also?
No, they're not. I bought them fresh off the Amazon. So yeah.
I'm so glad you got thick skin.
I do. I'm glad.
Either that or it takes you all week of crying in your pillow every night before you can come back on the show with us.
Nope, I'm not sensitive. If you guys weren't picking on me, I'd think you were mad at me.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, we can't hear you talk.
Right. Let's just be extra nice to Ben next episode, and he'll think we're mad at him.
There you go.
So
Koi says he has some Vision X 6.7 light cannons, and he highly recommends them.
Yeah, we sell them at work, so I get a decent discount. Oh, I've been looking at them really hard. I actually have a Vision X rep that I see pretty regularly. They actually might be at our show. They've got a warehouse, our off-road car show we do. We've got there's a possibility of getting Vision X there because they're local to us. So, well, Jeremy, what about you?
Well, I finally threw in some backup lights because I got tired of Rick blinding me when I was wheeling with him. So I decided I would blind him from now on too. So I just threw some Amazon special backup lights that I already had in the garage. I just threw them in, figured I'll replace them when they break with something quality. Up front, I have a JW speaker light bar. It's just a 12-inch, just a tiny one. Throws a little bit of light, and then some Olympus pods up on the front bumper, and then obviously the rock lights down below, but they're just cheapy Amazon ones. Aaron, what are you running for lights?
Clearly not as many as Ben. I'm gonna need to catch up. So I had 4 HID off-road lights, some 7-inch off-road lights on the roof of my truck. I took those off because once I added some of these knockoff ARB intensity bumper lights, they were way brighter. 2 of those were way brighter than the 4 HID lights that I was running up top that used to be amazing. So I just run those 2 on my bumper, and then I've got some ARB fog lights in the bumper, which are incandescent bulbs or halogen or whatever you want to say. And they're absolute garbage. I don't know who at ARB designed these fog lights, or maybe they just were the first ones they used in the bumper that they first created back in the donkey ages, but they've just been garbage the whole time. I read about them on forums that they're garbage. I just haven't taken the time to pull them out and swap something LED into those holes. I have to weld up some sort of bracket because it's a very weird bracket that it goes into. So, and then out back, I've just got some cheap backup lights that are molded into, I shouldn't say molded, but they're cut into my rear bumper, connected to my my reverse lights. So when my reverse lights go on, those go on. I had it connected to a switch also, but I must have damaged a wire under the truck or something, because that I can't blind people tailgating me anymore. So, and then I don't own any ditch lights because I don't drive in the ditch. So I haven't really seen a need to put those on my truck. So
I need to see that ditch coming. I'm just saying.
you got to be prepared for it.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's talk tires and wheels, Jeremy, since you're the first person to kind of upgrade wheels recently. Why don't you go?
Yeah, I made sure on this one that I was first since I got the dual tech wheels first.
Yeah.
I didn't want Ben to go in front of me.
You bought something that nobody else had?
Not nobody else, but
no, nobody else, like in our circle of friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I picked up the Dirty Life dual tech wheels. I think they're fantastic so far. I love them. I love the look of them. The satin gold or whatever they call it is fantastic, especially on the red with the Jeep. And I've been super happy with them. And then I wrapped those in some 40-inch Patagonias. So super happy about those so far. Yeah, we'll see how I continue to like them. But so far, I'm thumbs up on the Patagonias.
How wide are your tires?
1350.
Okay.
How about you, Aaron? What are you running right now?
I'm still running my stock Nissan steel wheels. So actually, when I bought my truck, it had alloy wheels on it. And because Overlanders rock steel wheels, I'm like, I got to get rid of these things fast. So I sold them, got some steel wheels. And then I also got a free set of matching steel wheels for my trailer. So I've got 8 Nissan steel wheels all the way around for my truck and my trailer. All of them are rocking 255 85 16s, which are like a 33 by 10 and a half. Tim says I'm going to get some new wheels, stock Titan wheels. That actually may be in my future, but they won't be stock Titan wheels. I will soon be changing this setup. My 33s are going bald. This is like the most bald I've ever had tires in my life. It's about time to sell them to Ben.
Are they nearly as bald as mine?
But yeah, so that's what I got going on with mine. And I do have to say, I am sad to be not selling. I won't be able to sell them for anything, but I'll be sad to get rid of these steel wheels because they have been beat up and bashed and scratched. And one thing I love about these Nissan steel wheels is that the valve stem is totally recessed behind the spokes, as you might say, of the tire, and there's no way for them to just get hammered by anything. So they're very well protected. So yeah.
Who lit a fire under Tim this week?
Yeah, he's on it. Ben, why don't you tell us what you got for wheels and tires? Did you do anything unique?
I did. I have some black and chrome or aluminum. There we go. Dirty Life DT1 dual techs with 33.
Hang on a second. I got to go back to the notes here. Dirty Life dual tech. That's the same thing Jeremy has.
It's same exact thing, even the DT1s. So yeah, and then I've got 33-inch Patagucci's or 285 7017s, whatever system you want to use. They're a little narrower than the 33 by 10 and a halves, I think it is.
Wider. Like it's got to be wider because I've got pizza cutters and you don't.
No, I don't. They're fat. They're fat boys. But yeah, I like them. And getting new tires is pretty unique for me. So yeah,
I'm super excited that that you made the leap to new tires.
Yep. One of these days I'll get away to carry that spare. It won't fit underneath. I got a negative 38 offset to push them out for when I go to 35s. I've still got a little bit of work to go to 35s, but yeah, it's in the future. Why don't we talk about armor next, Aaron?
Armor. Let's see here. I've got lots of armor on my rig. So my truck, because it was the Nismo model, which was replaced by the Pro 4X, came with armor already. So I was set, right? That factory armor is the best because not only is it armor, but it's lightweight armor. So it doesn't weigh your truck down. So yeah, my truck did come with some factory armor. Most of it has been replaced. I still have 2 plates left to replace, but I haven't been looking for I haven't been looking. Man, these comments are lit tonight. I can't wait till we talk about Ben and his armor. I've got factory skid plates up front, and then all the rest are some aftermarket Schrockworks skid plates. I'm running some Trail Gear DIY sliders, which they're all cut and everything. You just have to weld them together, then mount them either by welding it to your chassis or bolting it through your chassis. So got some Trail Gear sliders. And then I've got an ARB front bumper, which I've mentioned. And then I am running a custom rear bumper because no one really makes rear. I mean, there are some rear bumpers for the Frontiers, but not much is available out there. And the ones that were really ugly, especially the ARB one. It was like a preschooler drew that bumper or something. I don't know why they made that rear bumper. It was weird. So yeah, I've got one that a buddy of mine made for me, and it has been really, really good. So it's been crashed into by a car, and it's still holding strong. So is that it for? Yeah, that's it for protection. How about you, Ben? What do you? It's your turn. Let's talk about all your sliders.
Oh, all my
You mean
sliders.
skids.
I do got
Skid plates.
sliders. So I've got Northwest Trail Innovations bumper. It's a DIY bumper, and Exofab sliders that are DIY and welded to the frame. And sooner or later, I might have some skids if I ever get them welded together and extract the broken bolts from underneath my Forerunner. They're still there. I was looking at them today while I was fixing that caster.
Hmm.
I have to drill them out and spray and heat and hopefully get them out. So I'm afraid of getting those in though. It's getting those out, I should say. So yeah, and then there's a rear bumper in the works too. So, but that'll probably be 3 years from now.
Yeah, I'd hold out on that rear bumper until you figured out your head gasket issue. See if you're going to keep the truck.
Yeah,
or not.
I'm ordering. I've got a block tester kit on the way.
Oh, I thought you were going to say some like stop leak.
Oh, come on! If I'm gonna do stop leak, it's
Mr.
gotta
Head
be Blue
Gasket.
Devil. No, Blue Devil. Go with the right stuff at least.
Coy says that my rear bumper was tested against every rock in Moab, and that is 95% true. I didn't hit every rock, but I hit a lot of them.
Just most of them.
Yep. A lot
Jeff
of
says
dragging.
if it blows, just V8 swap it. It's not really that easy of a swap. So yeah, I'll Titan swap it first.
Just V8 swap it by buying one that already has a V8 in it.
Yeah, no, who knows? I might just I don't know, buy my sister's.
I would do it.
Third
Don't do
gen.
it. Don't do it.
Yep, million different things I can do.
Just buy a regular.
I've been buying I actually
Build-
been eyeballing a JT.
Build out your expedition.
There we go.
Swap all your parts over.
IRS and IFS. I've got all the IS.
Send it.
That's on its last legs too.
I'm sensing a theme.
Uh-oh.
So I guess I'll just move on to me. So I'm fully skidded, other than apparently my my control arm brackets, thanks to Tim. So have rock hard engine, transmission, and gas tank skids. The main reason I went with rock hard was because they actually made a bracket for the Hemi swap JKs. So on the driver's side for the Hemi, you actually bolt into the or for all of them, you actually bolt into the engine mount. And so since the engine mounts are changed out, you need to have a different bracket to mount to the engine mount. So that was one of the main reasons I went with rock hard, is they had a ready-made option for me. And then obviously I just carried it all the way back to the transmission and gas tank skids. And then I have AEV front bumper that's been chopped and shortened into a stubby, and then an LOD rear bumper, and then some poison spider rock sliders. Yep. So I said rock hard, right, Rick?
I think I heard
hard or hard rock.
Yeah,
it's definitely rock hard.
Yeah, I heard rock hard, so I don't know.
Rick's just
okay.
Old. He's forgetful.
I think Rick's been drinking tonight. I'm getting some drunk texts from him.
But yeah, I definitely put those to the test every single time I wheel the Jeep. I put a big scuff into my new rear bumper when I was out last weekend. But that's what it's there for. That's why it's steel.
Yes.
Well, Ben, let's start off with you and tell us kind of what the electronics you have in that thing is.
Well, I've kept it pretty simple on the inside. I've got a handheld ham radio and a Samsung 10.5-inch tablet that I've got mounted with a RAM mount that bolts to my seat, my passenger seat. So it's on like a little suspension arm, bendable arm, so I can put it right where I want it and be able to see my maps for running Gaia or whatever else I'm using for search and rescue.
Didn't you change out your radio to like a Scion XB radio or something like that so you could watch cute
Yeah,
Japanese shows?
yes, I did. I've got a Scion. I swapped out my factory radio for a Scion FRS radio. Same difference, really. It's got touchscreen and allows me to use Bluetooth, so I can listen to all the podcasts and radio I want instead of having.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Tim, you are spot on. That's so Coy says, I sure wish we would have seen Jeremy test his armor in Moab. Tim says he's scared of Moab. He told me, he said, and I quote, "That's like frontier territory. I can't handle that."
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. And Rick says, ham radio, when did you get your license? So I'm sure Ben said you're probably just listening only. So
I'm listening only, and unless it's for search and rescue missions where there's this gray area where I'm allowed to use search and rescue frequencies. So that's why it's
nice.
but I am working on my license one of these days. Kind of like my springs and skid plates and bumpers. Yeah, I'll get there one of these days.
Before or after his Forerunner is broken because of his head gasket.
We'll see. Yeah. It might be just a water pump leak. I've got to figure it out. Jeremy, what about you?
Well, I am legally running a mobile ham radio.
Ooh, fancy.
And then I'm also running an aftermarket radio. And part of the reason I got this aftermarket radio, well, the main reason is because the radio I had stock didn't have Bluetooth, so I needed Bluetooth. But a happy byproduct of the radio I ended up getting is with Apple CarPlay, and it was right after Gaia released their Apple CarPlay app, and it has been fantastic. It's because I used to run an extra iPad, pretty much just to run Gaia, so I'd have a larger screen, and I love having the Gaia right there on the radio. It's easy to use and easy to follow the trail as you're if you have it marked out. So
speaking of that, Gaia just released it for Android Auto as well, like last week. So
nice.
Tim's comment, man, that's what he told his wife. I need Bluetooth, so I bought new axles.
He needed Bluetooth hubs.
No, I needed analog hubs. Yep, that's about how the conversation went. No, it was really, we just put that new radio in. We got to be able to use it. We need new axles. How about you, Aaron? What are you running in that?
I have yet to change my radio out, and I've been threatening to do it for 3 or 4 years now. I'd like to have something with a screen, and now that Gaia is out for Android Auto, I might just make that change sooner than later. So yeah, stock radio. I have a Baofeng in mine, a handheld Baofeng that I only use at low power on FRS stations, so that I'm completely legal. No, you guys are shaking your head. No, you have to run it at like 0.5 watts. You have to turn it way down on an FRS channel.
Except those aren't rated to, or those aren't legal to run FRS.
I don't know why. That's really dumb laws, so I don't care. I just don't even care anymore. Yeah, and other than that, I just listen to other people talk, and then I get on my CB radio, which I have a Cobra 75WX radio, and I mentioned that model number for any listeners out there that might want a CB and haven't got one because you're like, I don't know where to put it. This one's pretty slick. It has all the controls and everything are in the microphone itself, and you can put the box for the microphone anywhere. I have mine mounted underneath my driver's seat, and it just has a little short cord hanging off of it that you attach your microphone to when you're ready to use it. I just keep my microphone in the glove box, and you turn it on and off from the hand unit and change the channels, the volume, everything from the hand unit. So it's super small, doesn't have to take up a lot of space. So my only complaint, and it might be because I'm deaf, is that it's not very loud. So I went on like Amazon or something, and maybe I was at Radio Shack. I don't remember, but I bought like a $10 CB radio speaker, which is just this little box. It's actually 50% larger than the CB radio power box. And I just have that thrown underneath my driver's seat, and I pull it out when I need to listen to what people are talking about. So, and beyond that, go ahead.
Another radio similar to that one is the Midland 75-822. I used to have that one. And the cool thing with that one is it could actually come out and be portable. So you could be out of your rig and helping direct people.
And then I got a Garmin. It is super old Garmin, but honestly, a lot of the trails I've been on, it shows up and it does this thing. Man, Timmy, we're gonna just start calling Kimmy. Kimmy's really giving some compliments out to Jeremy, talking about
and my
how
eyeliner,
professional he looks. So
yeah, and then he throws in, apparently I'm wearing eyeliner.
Well, yeah, you always are wearing guy liner. So he says he's got a fancy microphone and a background. What's wrong with my microphone? Look at us. We've all got microphones. And is my background not fancy enough there, Tim? It's worth more money than Jeremy's background.
If you're going to count what's in those?
Yes.
I don't know. Mine's made of wood, so.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so that's kind of what I've got going on for electronics. Not a ton. I do have a mobile ham for my rig once I get my license so that I can legally use it. And I just need for the state to allow us to do ham radio classes again so I can go take a ham cram in person, because I'm really bad at online stuff. So
I hate the online stuff.
Yeah, I really want to take one of those in person, and I've been bugging a place local to me, and they keep telling me no. I said, what if I like make it a group of guys, and you guys come to us, and it's still a no? So kind of bummed out about that.
I tried the podcast, or not podcast. There was a audiobook for ham radio.
Yeah.
Nope, didn't work for me.
Did it put you to sleep?
No, it did not go in the brain.
Yeah.
One ear, up the other.
You just have to keep playing it over and over and over.
No.
I can't. No? Okay. All right.
I try.
Well, we want to thank everyone once again who listens to us every week. Welcome, Tim, one of our newest member of our live show. I'm glad to have you here, keeping us awake and keeping us on our toes. And make sure you're sharing us with all your friends, Tim. Tell everybody how much you loved interacting with us, your coworkers and your grandma and your niece and nephews. We really appreciate it. It helps our channel grow. Get them to subscribe to our YouTube, where Jeremy's about to drop another video, I'm pretty sure. So It's coming. It's coming. Also, God bless America.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren and Power Tank to see all of their great gear. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our webpage at firearmsradio.tv or through our social media channels by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com, Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, be safe and courteous, and thanks for listening.
I like how Coy says, I hate online stuff, says the guy doing online podcasts.
I hate online learning.
Yeah.
It's harder to learn online. Also,
Ask our kids that, right?
Yep.